As he comes out of turn number 4, he will be the first ever international champion in NASCAR.
On November 19th, 2016, Daniel Suárez made NASCAR history. Daniel Suárez, in that moment, became the first foreign-born NASCAR champion in the top 3 touring series and was the first Mexican-born champion in those 3 series as well. And with it, well, Suárez looked to have a bright future in NASCAR. In that moment, he was at the pinnacle of the basically AAA of NASCAR. And then the next night, in the same numbered car with the same sponsor, everything came crashing down for Carl Edwards. Carl Edwards going for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series championship. And in going for that one, ended up wrecking himself. And only 2 months later, Edwards would announce a retirement. On January 11th, 2017, in a most unexpected way, Carl Edwards at Joe Gibbs Racing decided to just hang it up right after competing for a championship and pretty much still being at the top of his game. And it was a little under only 2 months since Miami, and only a month before 2017 Speed Weeks. With this, Daniel Suárez, the previous Xfinity Series champion, would be tasked with replacing Carl Edwards with very minimal amount of time. And this is where Suárez's journey starts. Starting off, you have Suárez's years at JGR Cup, starting with 2017. In 36 starts in 2017, he didn't get a win. He got 1 top 5, 12 top 10s, 40 laps led, had a 16.2 average, and he finished 20th in the standings. The thing about Suárez in 2017 is he was inheriting a championship-level team, but was rushed up far too early. So with that, he'd be very streaky. Suárez would start with streaks of top 10s, top 15s, and it would seem like he was a very adequate Cup driver for the minimal experience that he had. But then you'd also have streaks of chaos where things would go wrong and he wouldn't be able to handle it the right way because, again, of that minimal experience, and then a ton of crashes as well. Even with those down spots, there were bright ones as well. And leading into 2018, there were some high hopes that Suárez would be able to kind of return to the way he was in the Xfinity Series and bring the 19 team to the way it was with Carl Edwards. And in most statistical metrics, it was actually a down year. While he had 2 more top 5s in the year before, he had 3 less top 10s, he led less laps, had a worse average finish, and this year he finished 21st in points, once again being the lowest finishing JGR driver and not making the 16-driver playoff. His team had lower highs this time. They weren't as fast as the year before, but at the same time, their lows were higher. They basically just settled into plain mediocrity. And Suárez was not up to par at this point. It was a sad way to see a promising young prospect kind of get wasted by one of the juggernauts of NASCAR. So, at the end of 2018, Suárez was out. And, in turn, he would have to move on and move pretty much in every single way over to stewart-haas Racing in 2019 to drive the 41 Ford. This time, he was replacing Kurt Busch, a veteran driver just like Carl Edwards, except this driver had championship pedigree to his name. And with this, he did have an improvement over 2018. He finished in the top 5 and top 10 more. He ran up front a lot more, and he actually led over 100 laps for the first time in his Cup career. And it was overall the best season of his career in pretty much every way. He had no real rhythm or so, though. It wasn't like where it was streaky. It wasn't like where he was mediocre. It was just sort of all over the place. It was chaotic. And he was the only guy at stewart-haas Racing who missed the playoffs. He basically was an anchor, a crutch. He was there just holding a championship-level team back where every team except his could make it into the playoffs. And even if he finished 17th, best of the rest, it still showed what a lot of people were starting to think, that he was overhyped. And this led to what, in my opinion, was the lowest point of his Cup career, racing for Gaunt Brothers Racing. And I think that the lowest point he had in his Cup career would actually come before the season technically started when it comes to racing for points, and that was in the 2020 Daytona Duels. In this, Daniel Suárez crashed out and missed the Daytona 500. While 2020 sucked for everyone, professionally it did suck for Suarez as well, as with an underfunded team, he just wasn't going to run that well. He didn't even finish in the top 30 in points. He, like I said, missed the 2020 Daytona 500 and was pretty much an afterthought for the entirety of the year, pre and during the pandemic. But then somebody gave him another chance. And that somebody would be Justin Marks with Trackhouse. In 2021, Suarez was tabbed to be the franchise driver of Justin Marks' new team in association with Pitbull, to drive the number 99 Chevrolet. And a lot of people didn't know what to expect. They thought with a new team, a driver like Suarez, top 30 would be pushing it. And you know what? In every single way, Trackhouse and Suarez exceeded expectations. You see, while it wasn't Suarez's best statistical season, while it wasn't a season that even saw him really be competitive all that often, it was a way to show that he wasn't done yet, taking an unproven team and being at least moderately successful with them. And it was a new start. He had an entire team that was going to build around him and an entire team that had their confidence in him. His confidence did seem restored, and he had a career-defining and peaking race in the first dirt race that NASCAR's Cup Series had in decades at the Bristol Dirt Track. And with it, he led 58 laps. He competed with the likes of guys like Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, and all the other best of the NASCAR Cup Series, championship drivers and championship caliber drivers. And he finished fourth. He didn't win, but he was up front. He was one of the main factors in that race, and it was a season to build upon. And then you come into 2022. Suarez so far this year in 16 starts has gotten his win at Sonoma, but that's not it. He has 3 top 5s and 5 top 10s already. He's led over 200 laps this season, which is already a career high, and he's in the top 20 in points even before the fact of qualifying for the 2022 NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. In every way, Suarez is building something up, even if he's not running consistently yet. He's run competitively, and bad luck has taken him out of a lot of really good opportunities, and the results don't speak to how well he ran. He's led laps in 6 races so far this year, which is a lot more than pretty much any of the previous years. And he finally, like I said, got that win at Sonoma and has finally qualified for the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs after 6 seasons of effort. And you know what? The fun part is, this probably isn't going to be the peak for him. For the first time in his Cup career, fans of Daniel Suarez can ask what's next and have hope. You see, obviously, the 2022 playoffs are next, but they need consistency. That's what needs to be next. They need to build consistency. They have winning speed, they have winning opportunities. Now they need to string them together more. And I think if they do that, Suarez has enough talent to be a championship threat, given the right circumstances. And there's a reason why I think that that's actually realistic if given enough time. Suarez right now has a stable future. He has that team that's surrounding him. An owner has full confidence in him, and he is the franchise driver that's being built upon. And that is why I think Suarez might have a lot more to come. So now with all that, knowing what he's been through in the NASCAR Cup Series and the circumstances he's had to get there, I want to ask you, what do you think is next for Daniel Suarez? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more great NASCAR content like this. And thank you to all of my channel members for your continued support. So until next time, have a good one.